Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. And make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Now look, man, there's a guy, I don't know if it's a guy or girl, but anyway, on Twitter, I saw this image. Person name is Jules. And what Jules wanted to know is something that I talk about from time to time, is who's going to lose first? And I thought that was a pretty interesting question, especially because I touch on some of these things from time to time. Anyway, when you take a look at Gervonta Davis, Virgil Ortiz, Jerome Boots Ennis, Naoya Inoue, David Benavidez, Terrence Crawford, Jamal Charlo, Devin Haney, and Christian and Billy. Who out of those 9 do you really think is going to lose? Now, for me, when I think about those names, I want to first say I think they're all outstanding fighters. And you know, to get to the level that these 9 fighters are at, you know, not just everybody could do it. Because if they could, they would. So there's something special about these fighters. But if you ask me, when I look at it, right, go back to that list, who out of these 9 would lose first? I gotta say, okay, the first person on here who may lose, okay, I would say, you got Devin Haney, you got Virgil Ortiz, you got Boots, you got Jamal Charlo, and Billy Inoue. Okay, the first person who may lose, in my opinion, and I'm looking at the opponents they have to face too. I think Devin Haney returning to the ring. I think Devin Haney may be the first. Oh no, I take that back. I think David Benavidez may be the first to lose. And the reason why I say David Benavidez is because David Benavidez is he's at 175 now, right? I don't know if he's fighting again this year. I think they're firming something up for him to fight again this year. But then after that, the plan is for him to fight the winner of Bivol and Benavidez. I don't think he can beat Bivol. I don't think he can beat Benavidez. I think at 175, his power just isn't there. What I will say is, I don't think when he fought Gvozdyk that he had Angel Mimo Heredia in his corner. Now you may say, why are you bringing that up? Well, I want to make sure that I foot stomp this. David Benavidez, to me, never needed Angel Mimo Heredia. But he used him, and it did make a big difference when he fought Caleb Plant and Demetrius Andrade. That David Benavidez always looks good, but he looked like a machine. Just sliced through those 2 dudes like a hot knife and butter. But then he went to 175. I don't think he had Angel Mimo Heredia helping him. I don't know what happened with the relationship. I don't know. All I know is if he needed Angel Mimo Heredia's help in any fight, it wasn't Caleb Plant and it wasn't Demetrius Andrade. It was for Gvozdyk. Because Gvozdyk was just sitting there eating his punches like grapes. Nonetheless, if he couldn't really push back and damage Gvozdyk the way he's done to guys at 168, I can't see him really creating any problems for Bivol or Benavidez. I want to say this as well. According to David Benavidez, he used to, his words, beat the shit out of Bivol in sparring. Well, I'm going to tell you this. He said he used to beat the shit out of Gvozdyk too. Didn't quite go that way when he fought him. Matter of fact, if there would have been 1 more round, maybe 2 more rounds, David Benavidez would have got stopped. So, in my opinion, David Benavidez is going to be the first one to lose. Now, next person on here, Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney, Virgil Ortiz. Matter of fact, I think Virgil Ortiz. So I think Benavidez, then Virgil Ortiz. I think Virgil Ortiz is going to be the one to lose after that. Now, if he fights before David Benavidez, depending on who he fights, he may lose. Let me tell you, I'm just not sold on Virgil Ortiz. I've said this in multiple videos. For those of you who are just, kind of new to the channel or didn't watch those videos, when Virgil Ortiz was at 147, I thought that Virgil Ortiz would have beat Crawford and would have beat Spence. And some people thought I was crazy, but that's just how dominant he was. He's not that guy anymore. At 154, first two fights were jokes, okay? Both fights around each, 2 total rounds, knockouts, bullshit knockouts. Referee helped him in the first fight. Second fight, the guy was already washed up, Delorme, and got hit with a body shot. Look, I've been hit with body shots. Some people said it looked like it was all staged. Now, you get hit with the body shot, that shit, people react differently. But the bottom line is, I didn't think he showed enough to go into the fight with Bohachuk. Anyway, gets in the fight with Bohachuk. I felt like Bohachuk beat his ass. Okay? I felt like he just humiliated him, knocked him down a couple times. And I think Bohachuk deserved to get a goddamn one-sided, lopsided decision. Didn't go that way because the secret society's in full effect. But I think with Virgil Ortiz, depending on who he gets in the ring with next, I think he is going to lose. I think he's on borrowed time. I do feel that rhabdomyolysis took a pound of flesh out of him. And y'all saw him going down. Remember, according to Virgil Ortiz, like Benavidez, when Benavidez started about sparring Gvozdyk and Bivol, according to Virgil Ortiz, he and Bohachuk had great sparring, but he basically was getting the best of him and beating his ass. But it was great sparring. Not quite how the fight played out, was it? Anyway, I got David Benavidez losing first, then I got Virgil Ortiz. Now after that, I got to be real here, right? Jamal Charlo, Devin Haney, and then Billy, right? Jamal Charlo, Devin Haney, and then Billy. I'm going to say I think Devin Haney loses next. So actually that middle row, I got Benavidez, Ortiz, and Devin Haney. Now, the thing with Devin Haney, everyone has a way they feel about him. I'm not here to talk about that. But I do think Devin Haney's he's in no man's land. He shouldn't be at 140 because it kills him to make the weight. Can't go to 147 because the guys are too big. So he needs to find a happy medium, like 144-pound catch weight. The bottom line is, he's got speed, but he has bad habits. His hands are down low. But when he gets in with guys who kind of has the same amount of speed or more than him, like Ryan Garcia showed, he can be touched. Maybe the Austrian helped Ryan, but the bottom line is Ryan's always been fast. But I think Devin Haney's chin has always been questionable. And I'm not, look, Ryan's always had power, but the Austrian, okay, we're just dealing with the facts here. He did get hit by somebody who had some shit in the system. But Devin's always shown that his chin wasn't necessarily the best, right? That being said, for him to come back now, when I think Ryan Garcia is taking a pound of flesh out of him, and if you listen to Ryan, Bernard Hopkins, and Oscar De La Hoya, they'll tell you that ass whipping that Ryan put on him, which I think was unfair. Even though I picked Ryan to beat him, I just don't like the fact that he had shit in his system, right? That ass beating took 5 years off of Devin. And I think it did too. So when he returns, I just think he's just has an uphill battle. And I think when he returns, depending on who he fights, especially he keeps talking this crazy shit about fighting goddamn Boots, he would die. Crawford, he would die. Even if he fought Teofimo, I don't know if he'll beat Teofimo right now. He needs to get there with someone where he can jab and use his footwork and use his reach and have an advantage. Cambosos is looking like a third fight with him, looking like a real good comeback fight. This shit about fighting Paro, Subra Matias, fighting Pitbull Cruz, fighting Valenzuela. I just think that's a suicide mission for Devin Haney right now. But nonetheless, we won't know until we see. But I just think Devin Haney, he's in a bad spot because 140's got some killers. And 147 is just too big and too strong for him. Even if he fought Blair or Flair Cobb, I think that's a real good fight. And Blair Cobb said he can make 140. So he wouldn't have a problem fighting Devin at 144. So I think for Devin to return, I think he should fight Blair Cobb. But he better be careful because Blair Cobb will probably beat him. And he does not want to lose to Blair Cobb. Maybe Adrian Broner's a good fight for him. I don't know. But I'm just not so sure Devin's going to ever get back to the top of any division. I just don't see it. It's just my opinion. So that's Benavidez, Ortiz, Devin. After that, I got to go with Jamal Charlo. Look, Jamal Charlo, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. He's been out too long and active and drugs and alcohol and coming back at 168. They got killers at 168. So I just think Jamal Charlo, I think he'll be the one to lose after Devin Haney. Now, after that, I got to look at Crawford, Boots. I'm going to say Mbili. Mbili can scrap, but Mbili showed some lapses in his last fight. He fought Derevyanchenko. If Derevyanchenko had, he had a messed up shoulder or something, didn't he? Arm, something went wrong with Derevyanchenko. But the bottom line is Derevyanchenko, with one arm, and it was his weak arm, was giving Mbili the business. Actually hurt him sometimes. So that just tells me Mbili in there with a solid fighter with two arms, Mbili's ass is in trouble. Unless he can keep getting better. But one thing we know about Mbili, he's tough. He's durable. He comes to fight. You can't be a sparring partner for goddamn Benavidez and not be able to whip some ass. So Mbili's tough. I think he's one of them guys you're gonna have to kill him to stop him. But I just think he gets in there with somebody big, strong, two good arms. I think and some IQ. I think Mbili will lose. So we got Benavidez, Ortiz, Devin, Jamal, and Billy. Now we're down to Crawford, Boots, Inoue, and Tank. Let me tell you something. If you ask me who's going to lose out of Crawford, Boots, Inoue, and Tank, I know some people are going to hate me for this. I think Crawford will lose. When he fought Marjamov, he dominated, right? Some people say he didn't. He did. But I saw something in that fight. And, of course, you got to look at the opponent. Crawford got hit with, I think, 5 consecutive right hands. Pops, pops, pops. I said, God damn. Then pop, pop. I said, Crawford got hit with 5 consecutive, I think it was right hands. Or like 3 right hands and a couple other shots. But anyway, he got hit with 5 consecutive shots. And the first 3 really rocked his head back. And I said, that's a bad sign. Look, man, Father Time is undefeated. And I think Crawford, he just posted something tonight. Y'all say I'm begging for the Canelo fight. That's a little extreme. Nah, man, you are begging for the Canelo fight. You want to fight Canelo, it's okay. You're begging for it. But I tell you what, even outside of Canelo, fighting Fundora, I think that's a high risk fight for Crawford. I really do. Look, it doesn't matter what you feel about Crawford. Hold your horses, let's not take it to the stupid. Fundora got a goddamn 80-something inch reach, man. He learned in that Tim Tszyu fight that he can make a fight easy if he stays behind his reach. You've heard Marjamov talk about Fundora. Now, word on the street is Marjamov knocked out Fundora. But Marjamov said he underestimated him. He thought he was this tall, skinny guy with no power. And when he got in there, he was shocked at how physically strong Fundora was. So there's something about Fundora. And I think Crawford going to find out because it seems like that's the fight that's going to happen next for Terrence Crawford. Now, that being said, I got Crawford losing after Mbili. So now we got, after Crawford, we got Inoue, Tank Davis, and Jerome Boots in us. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, out of them 3, I think Boots will lose. That's just me, man. He gets hit too much. Boots can fight, Boots can scrap, but I don't like the fact that he gets hit so much. And he's at 147. He may go to 154, but I'm not so sure. Boots passes the eye test, but he hasn't really been up in against a real challenge yet. Haven't really seen him get hurt and how he recovers and all that. Boots has had fights that have been look relatively easy, but I think when the real deal starts, when he gets some stiff competition, and if he passes the test with flying colors, then we can say, okay, now Boots is all right. But I think he definitely will probably lose before Tank and Inoue. Now, out of Tank and Inoue, who loses? I don't know. So let's just do this. It's Benavidez, Ortiz, Haney. Then I said Jamal Charlo. Then I said Billy. Then I said Crawford, Boots. Now we're down to Inoue and Tank Davis. Shit. Oh, man, I don't know. I really don't know between Tank and Inoue. But if I had to pick one, who would lose first? Shit, man, like I really don't know. If Inoue bubbled up, Tank, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Gervonta Davis or Inoue? Well, I'm even looking at who Gervonta gonna fight. He's gonna beat Roach. But then after that, Inoue's out here fighting. I think Inoue would lose first. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because Inoue is out here really chasing greatness. Inoue is fighting mandatories, he's fighting champions. Inoue is out here doing the business. And when you're fighting those real top-level fighters in your weight division, Inoue's bubbled up multiple weight divisions, and he's still giving people the business. Seems to be getting faster, stronger, right? I just think he may be the one, although he's getting faster, stronger, and looking great, because he's taking on the biggest challenges for him in his weight division. I just think he's going to run into somebody that may land some shit on him. Tank is still sitting here and not necessarily trying to get into take on the biggest risk out there. He's getting into some somewhat competitive fights, but he got an A-level fighter fight, and some people consider like D, C level, C plus at best. So Tank is always gonna, probably win his fights. But I think Inoue would lose first, because I think Inoue would step up as far as in competition a lot sooner than Tank would at this point in their career. Inoue seems about just continue to move up the ladder. Tank just seems to be cool where he's at. That's why. But if Tank was a step up, there's a chance. I would have to say, I'd have to say it's a toss of a coin. But Tank's not doing that. So that's how I have it. So I got Benavidez, Ortiz, Haney, Jamal Charlo, and Billy. Then I got Crawford, Boots. Then I got Inoue and Tank. But I tell you what, this is what you want. You want guys to be out here fighting. You look at Eddie Hearn, they were clowning Eddie Hearn. 11 of his top fighters lost. They're in 50-50 fights. Gotta be a winner, gotta be a loser. That's what you want to see. But what sucks is boxing fans want to come out here and disrespect everybody and make fun of them and shit. That's horrible to me. Horrible. We get in the fights we want, and people still want to come out here and, shame those guys and some of the female fighters out there on social media. Horrible fans. But anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. This is a very interesting image that was created, and I thought it would make for a very interesting talking point as far as who's going to lose first. And when you look at it, to be honest with you, any of them can lose first, because these guys are out here scrapping. But I just think when you look at what these guys are up against in their situations, to me, it's real easy to see. The first person to lose is probably going to be Benavidez. And then the last person to lose is probably going to be Tank because the secret society is looking out for him. Y'all keep cool in the breeze.